Ah, I've got you. How are you? You can hear me okay?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good. I think there's a slight delay, but we'll sort of crack on with this. So, how are you, Frederick Lindgren?
I'm. Well, I was racing last night and had a pretty high-speed crash, so I feel a bit battered and bruised. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm fairly well.
And how you finding living in Poland?
It's been good so far, actually. We have a pretty nice apartment that the club have organized for us, and it's a really nice area with a bit of forest. We can go for some running, and I can take the dog, the small dog Bellman.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So he enjoys that. So overall, we're pretty happy.
I was going to ask you actually if you'd taken your dog with you to Poland, but you've already answered that question. I must say, congratulations on your super news that you and your wife are expecting. Is it a baby girl, I believe?
Baby girl, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. It's interesting times for sure. It's a life changer. So it's interesting. I really look forward to it.
Yeah. When's the baby due, Fred?
Sometime mid-October. So kind of, well, we don't know how long the season's gonna be now with this coronavirus, but
Yeah, yeah.
mid-October.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, then. Well, we've got a few questions from the fans, and they've been flowing in pretty fastly. So let's have a look then. So, is Bomber Green still your favourite track in the UK?
Oh, definitely. It is. It wasn't my favorite track when I started to
Yeah,
race in
yeah,
England, but over the years, I kind of learned it and mastered it, and really enjoy riding there.
yeah. I remember when you first came, you just couldn't get your head around it, could you? You just couldn't get used to that track. But then all of a
I
sudden, it clicked. How did it take for it to click that I've got this now. I've mastered the track.
think must have been around two seasons, I reckon, before I could
Yeah,
really. It's pretty tight corners, and to go in, you go in with quite a high speed there, and to be able to turn it and use that Carlson corridor out of turn two, probably took some time to learn that.
the Carlson corridor, well, the Carlson line, as we call it. In fact, I've been talking to Jakob and of course PK over the last couple of weeks, and we were talking about the Carlson line and things like that. But yeah, I mean, you had some great racing at Wolverhampton. Um,
I
what?
feel
Go on,
really
sorry.
from the Carlson corridor to the Lindgren line, don't you think?
Okay, okay, all right, okay, all right. We'll do that then. Yeah, the Lindgren line. I'll use that. I'll use that next. Well, this year, hopefully. I'll definitely use that one. What was your best moment riding for Wolverhampton? What's your best moment, do you think?
Moment. That's a very difficult question to answer. Obviously, the league titles are special. But for me, if I look back, if I think about it, meeting all the people at Wolves around the club, making a lot of new friends, I think that's what I'm gonna take with me in my life for the most. Meeting a lot of great people, creating new friendships, and have a lot of good times off the track as well. Me and Pete, for example, we used to go when we were riding lakeside, go for a day in London and have some nice dinner and stuff like that. That I miss. I really miss some people around the Wolverhampton Speedway.
Or as Peter Carlson said, we've got to go for the curry, mate.
Yeah,
Certainly liked his curry. What I mean, what do you miss? You've probably answered some of the question there, really. But I mean, what do you miss of not riding for Wolverhampton? You said about the camaraderie, sort of with the people outside the stadium, in the stadium, and outside Wolverhampton, and meet up with friends and things. But I mean, what do you really miss? What's the one thing you really, really miss about not riding for the Wolves?
I think that's what I miss. The people really connected with the club. That's what I miss the most, and the camaraderie. Obviously, coming to Wolves on a Monday night, racing a well prepared track every week is also something I miss. But I think the people is what I miss the most.
Yeah, Who were your favourite partners to ride with when you team riding at Wolverhampton?
I must say Peter Carlson. Especially there was one season, I think 2009, when we won the championship. Me and him, we had some synchronized brains almost. We had so many good rides together in Heat 13 and Heat 15, especially at Monmore. So I would like to see some stats from that year, Heat 13 and 15 together with PK, how many 5-1s we got, but it was quite a few.
Yeah. And of course, you're good friends with Jakob as well. I mean, would that make you want to come back to Wolverhampton and team up with Jakob again?
It would be cool for sure. I really like Jacob. I think, like for me, friends within the sport, the biggest ones have been, my best friends have been Peter Carlson and Jacob. Obviously, traveling so much together and living together sometimes, and spending a lot of time together, and also being from Sweden in a foreign country together, it's made us really strong together, I think.
Yeah, in fact, actually, I've sort of made Sweden my second country, if you like, because I was away on holiday back in January, and there were some Swedish people at the same hotel. They got talking, and then we got talking about Speedway, and then when they found out what I did, and they go, oh. So I had about 2 nights of free drinks, which was quite good actually. And they even went out and bought me a Sweden T-shirt and they made me wear it for 3 days. So it was quite funny. It was really, really good.
Like a great time.
Yeah, great time. Can you hear the crowd at Monmore Green? You know, when you lined up there at the start, can you hear the crowd roaring you on? That's one of the questions.
But I can hear you more.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. What was your favourite meeting riding for the Wolves? What was your ultimate favourite meeting?
My favourite meeting riding for Wolves. It's hard to just pick a meeting.
So many.
Yeah, but it must be when we won the championship at Swindon and Manchester.
Yeah.
And you know, the pressure, the nerves, and then to be able to pull it off together with a great group of guys. That's something you look back to, and you kind of get goosebumps, and see all the fans as well, traveling with you to watch you. So yeah, those two.
I think actually this would lead me into this next question really well. After the epic ride in Heat 13, the second leg of the Premiership final at Bellevue, when you went from 4th to 2nd behind Zagar, what did Craig Cook say to you, and what did you say to him to reply?
My adrenaline was just pumping, so I don't think I can recall what he said or what I said. I just remember from the footage I've seen afterwards, and he was very angry, but I didn't think I rode dirty. It was very hard riding, but pretty fair to me. And it was the championship. I was on the line, so you have to give it everything.
You certainly do. Let's go back a bit. Let's roll back the years. And what got you into Speedway? What made you want to be a Speedway rider? I
kind of grew up with Speedway. My dad used to ride. My granddad used to ride. So I had my first bike when I was 3 years old. I used to always be on the push bike, pretending to be Speedway riders. Watching when I was a kid, I was watching World Finals. You know, when normal kids watch cartoons, I was used to watch Speedway World Finals. So I think I kind of was born into it.
Yeah, and what was your deciding? What was the deciding factor of you joining Wolves as your first British club?
I was getting guidance from I think Tony Olsson was the team manager of Sweden and the under-21 team manager. So I had contacts with a few clubs. Oxford were really wanted to sign me very fast. I think I was speaking with a couple of other clubs as well. Pool, I think, if I remember correctly. But I meet with CVS and Pete Adams. We were doing a under 21 tour in England in 2003, I think it was, or 2002 or 2003, and had a meeting with Pete and CVS, which went well. And the more I was speaking with people in Speedway about English clubs, everyone did recommend Wolverhampton to be a good club, and you would get the proper chance there. Even if you were failing, maybe you would have a second chance. And I think that made the decision for me to go to Wolverhampton.
Yeah, we do miss you. I have to say that. Who's the toughest rider you've ridden against? There could be a list here, couldn't there?
Toughest rider. At the moment, I think most riders are pretty tough. One that sticks out over the years is Nicky Pedersen.
What a shock!
Yeah, he's always tough to race against, but at the same time, you know where you have him, you know what you're gonna get. So it's also fairly easy to read in the first corner, I think. So yeah, but he's a tough competitor. But I would say all the great guys like Crumpy and Tony Ricardson, all these champion guys can ride pretty tough.
I've got to ask you this question because as thousands of people would have been watching this, or millions of people, the GP at Manila, and when you took off and did some sort of like motocross style riding, that must have been pretty scary.
Yeah, I don't know really how I managed to do it. It was kind of instinct. Worked out very well in the end, but it was definitely a good move from my side to avoid Patrick laying in front of me coming into the corner. That's kind of the worst place to have someone in front of you, especially with no brakes on our bikes. So good move.
It was a very, very good move and a great night for you as well. I've never ever seen anybody celebrate eating a hot dog so much as you did that night.
Oh no, it was a proper hot dog. It was great.
I bet the sponsors were well chuffed. I bet they were. What's your favourite track in Poland and Sweden?
In Poland, my home track, Częstochowa. I really love riding here. Have a great shape. The straights compared to the radius of the corners are really good. It's some great racing here. In Sweden, where I rode the last couple of years in Eskilstuna, we were always good prepared, but also Kumla is a nice track, the track where I started racing when I was a young boy. So those two in Sweden.
Got a couple of cheeky questions for you here. Would you? This is interesting. Would you quit Speedway to become a full-time singer? Eh?
I think no.
Not for you. Not for you.
I don't have much talent singing. I gave it my best shot when I did it, but no, it's. I'm not a big talent in that.
And you know this young man, Mr. David Howard, sneaks a little question in for you here. It basically wants to know, do you still like drinking gin?
No more gin for Freddie, as I used to say. Sorry behind the question, but I don't think we should take that here. But overall, I don't really drink much anymore. I try to stay focused on my job and to be healthy and training a lot. So very rarely drink at the moment.
Yeah, it's like us guys in lockdown over here. We've been sort of like, I think that's all we've been doing is drinking. But anyway, greatest Speedway achievements, either at club level or Grand Prix or international level?
Greatest achievement, club level. I must say, obviously all the titles you win are great achievements. But my season in Wolverhampton 2009, when I went almost unbeatable at Monmouth Green and took the title against Swindon in the playoff final. I think that was a really good achievement for myself. If you look back as well, Pete had pointed this out to me because it was kind of I took the top of the averages that year, and the second guy in the average was Lee Adams, and we kind of a match between him and me in the final, and he never beat me over those two legs until we actually had already taken the title. I think that was pretty significant for that win for us.
Yeah, I mean, moving forward, and the Grand Prix series. I don't know if we're hearing ribs and drabs of what's going to happen over here. Some things rumored that there's going to have a sort of mini world final, championships in Poland. Is that going to be the case, Freddie? Can you update us on that?
I don't have any news, actually. We get very little information from FIM and the BSI about it. They have stated that there will be 8 rounds, and when and where and how it's going to be, I don't know. So for us, it's just a waiting game at the moment. We know it's going to be something, but we don't know what or how or when.
Yeah, I mean, I'll update you. I mean, they're going to announce in England today that we could go down to 1 metre, and that the pubs and restaurants could be opening up so next week or the week after. Mass gatherings, which is the problem with Speedway. Speedway in England needs people to come through the gates, of course, and if we can get the mass gathering thing down, we stand a chance of getting the season on here. But of course, what's the situation in Poland? I saw, watching the match last night, I saw 1 or 2 people in the stadium, but is that just people just there, generally there, not general public?
No, they changed the rules for this. This was the second round of the league, and they can fill the stadium with 25% of the capacity.
Right.
From now on, so that's why you saw a few people there at the stadium. I think yesterday when we rode, but 25% of the capacity. So it's something, but it's not like it should be.
What's the average crowd at your home meetings, Fred?
At our place in Częstochowa, we had the average of 15,000 last season. So
that's good.
Pretty big, pretty good here.
Yeah, pretty good. Okay, then before we wrap it up, I have to sort of say thank you for all the many years and happy memories you've given me at Wolverhampton, and and the battles that I've seen you be in. And I have to end this on one question that's on everybody's lips: will you come and ride for Wolverhampton again?
A very good question, because I don't really have an answer for it at the moment. I will say this: you should never say never. I really loved racing for Wolverhampton. At the moment, my personal goal is to try and become a world champion. So I will kind of guide my career towards I believe is the best option for me to become a world champion. And that could be coming back to Wolverhampton. At the moment, I don't know.
Well, I think you will be world champion one day. Certainly will. You just knocking the door. You just need to get that foot on that higher step, and you will become the world champion. Freddie Lindgren, what can I say? It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, my friend. I personally do miss you with the banter that we have and everything else. And come on fast, Freddie. You stay safe, my friend. Give my regards to your wife, and good luck with the new baby. And give the dog a pat for me, because everybody in Sweden seems to have those Dachshunds.
Yeah, we love the duck sound, the sausage dogs over in Sweden. It's very popular.
There you go, Freddie. Have a safe one and enjoy the rest of the season over in Poland.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.